36. They want it in point slope form again, and it passes through the point 1, -4, and -2, 6. So same thing, I need a slope and a point. I got 2 points, got to find a slope. So I'm going to plug this into the slope formula. And we're going to say 6 minus -4, -2 minus 1. Gives me 10 over -3, right? Okay, 10 over -3. So now, when I'm looking at this, I have to go ahead and plug it in. So I'll pick a point, I'll pick this one, and I'm going to say y minus -4, because remember it's a negative, right? And this negative is part of the formula, equals the slope. I know it's a fraction, but the thing is, all I have to do is plug in a point slope form, so I'm not too concerned, because that's it. Technically, that's all I got to do. I'd go ahead and add the opposites here. They don't want me to simplify it. They just said plug it in a point slope form. That's an answer that's acceptable. All right, here we go. The next one is the one that a lot of people miss on the test. Question 38. And it says write in the standard form. The standard form is ax plus by equals c. Right? And so how this works is, what we have to do is get equations into that. So looking at question 38, okay, we're looking at m equals -5 over 3, and it passes through the point 6, 8. Okay. So what we need to do here is put it in a point slope form, then work it to slope intercept form, and then all the way into the standard form. And we kind of go through this whole process. So let's go ahead and plug it right into point slope form. So it's y minus 8 equals -5 over 3 times x minus 6. And then I'm going to go ahead and simplify a little bit and say y minus 8 equals -5 over 3x. And then I think I'm putting that over 1, and that gives me -10. I'm going to go ahead and add 8 to both sides, put it into slope intercept form. Okay. Now, they don't want it. This is part of the process. I got to get it into this one up here, which means x and y are on the same side. There can be no fractions, and the a term, which is in front of the x, cannot be negative. So the first thing, and I have a couple things to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is get x and y on the same side. That's the big thing about the standard form. X and y on the same side. So this is going to equal this. So I'm getting closer now. X and y are on the same side. This is positive, but I got a fraction. So I have to go and clear the fraction. So this gives me 5x plus 3y. Do not forget to distribute that. Equals -6. That is the standard form. That is my answer, and you will have to do this on the test. All right, number 40. Number 40 says determine whether the given ordered pair is a solution of the inequality. So here we go. We got x minus y is less than 4, and they give us this point here. So they want to find it's the solution. They're giving me a point. You simply plug it in and see if it gives you a true statement. So kind of put some parentheses in there to help myself, make sure I don't screw the negatives up. And I get -1, -4. Go ahead and add the opposite. So that gives me 3 is less than 4. So the answer to this one is yes, because 3 is less than 4. 42. Okay. 42 says graph the inequalities, and so this is what I get. Okay. So when it comes to graphing, and we're talking about linear equations, or in this case inequalities, we like to use slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b, or inequality equivalent. So I'll subtract 3 to both sides, and I get this. Okay. So now when I graph this thing, I'm looking at -3 as my b, 1, 2, 3, which is right there. And in this case, I actually made my graph a little bit small. I got to keep on going here. I got to go down 3 spaces, 1, 2, and 3, and over 1. And now look at this is a less than. There's no or equals 2, so it's a dashed line. And I have to graph it, and I can see that the y's are smaller, so I would shade down below here. If you're having issues with that, go ahead and put in a checkpoint. 0, 0 is always the nicest one. So if I plug in the point 0, 0, test it, I get 0 is less than -3 times 0, which is -3. And I get 0 is less than -3. And that's not true. So that means points over here are not part of the solution set. So consequently, I must shade the other side. Okay. 44. 44 says y is less than 3. So this is another scenario where I'm going to go to where y is less. So I'm going to go where y is 3, which is right there. This is an or equals 2, so this is a solid line. And it says the y's are smaller, so I'm going to shade down here. Okay. Once again, if you're having problems with the shading, go ahead, pick a point. Here's the point 0, 0. And I can only plug in the y because there's only a y in this question. I ask you, is 0 less than 3? The answer is yes, so all the points down here need to be shaded. (46). These are our solving systems of equations algebraically, meaning you have to use substitution elimination. There is the possibility of getting no solution, infinitely many solutions, or just one solution. So, 46 says 8x minus 5y equals -13, and 3x minus 2y equals -1. So I want to eliminate the x's or the y's. Nothing goes real easy here. I'll go ahead and get rid of the y's. And so what I'm going to have to do is multiply both of these by some number. So the least common multiple of these two have is going to be 10. So I want a -10 and a +10. It doesn't matter which one's the negative. So I'm going to trim this one positive. So I'm going to multiply this by -2. Because I want it to be a +10. I'm going to make this bottom one a -10. So I'm going to multiply by +5. So after I do that, I'm looking at -16x plus 10y equals +26. Make sure I multiply everything out. All over 15x plus 10y, minus 10y equals -5. That's a minus. This gives me -x equals 21. Alright. Dividing by -1, I get x equals -21. Now I got to plug that in to find the y value, and I'm going to plug it into this one before I multiplied by 5. So I'm going to say 3 times -21 minus 2y equals -1. And then multiplying that out gives me what? -63 minus 2y equals that. I'm going to add 63 to both sides. Make sure I'm still in the window here. And I'm looking at -2y equals +62 divided by -2, and y equals 31 negative. Alright? So my actual solution number, it's the point in which the lines cross, so it's a coordinate point. So the answer is -21, -31. Number 48. Let's actually stop here.